some people, they are meant to have the fame, they're meant to have the popularity, they're meant to have the likes and validation because they're so empty on the inside that if they didn't have that, for some people, they would really probably want to take themselves out of here. Peace and love, beautiful beings. My name is Layla Wind, chosen goddess. Welcome to my channel, Let Go My Ego, where we talk about all topics that have to do with letting go of the ego and letting our heart and our soul lead the way. So today's topic is all about the illusions of success. And I think it's really, really important, especially in these days and times where a lot of people are comparing themselves to other people. A lot of people are feeling lost. A lot of people are feeling delayed in their dreams. They're feeling like they're not good enough. Like, is success ever going to happen to me? And also getting blinded by, like I said, the illusions of success, what we think is successful, whether that's fame, whether that's fortune, whether that's being highly educated, whether that's being, for some people, popular, depending on your perception of what success is. There's so many different things that we deem successful where we're just looking at the surface and we're not looking deeper into what really truly makes us successful as an individual. And truly, true success is your inner state of being. So we're going to get into it. I do have my notes as usual. For those who are used to my videos or have watched my videos, thank you so much for being here. And yeah, I'm going to stick to the notes. I have just a few notes. I've learned not to take so much detailed notes. I'm a very detailed person, but I'm learning not to be so detailed because a lot of the wisdom just needs to come from the heart. It just needs to come from the soul. And it's like a lot of this stuff we already know when we can tune in deeper. So I have notes to try to cover as much as possible. That's just how I'm wired. I'm very thorough. I'm a very detail orientated person. But I also want to learn to be more in the flow, and it doesn't have to be so structured. So yeah, a lot of people, when we're looking at success or what we think is successful, we're again comparing the surface level, how things seems to be. This is very prominent, especially on social media, even on YouTube, or just looking at other people's lives from a surface level. You're only seeing the highlight reel, and that's what we need to understand. A lot of times we're not seeing what actually is going on in the day to day, in the moments to moments, what people are truly feeling on the inside. And unfortunately, we do live in a world where a lot of people put on their best face, they put on their mask, and they're not really honest with themselves and honest with other people. And I will say this, I understand, because I do believe vulnerability is very sacred. And a lot of people don't see the world as a safe space to like pour it all out on the table. So I do get it from that perspective. However, we have to understand that most things that we're seeing is just a highlight reel. And unfortunately, a lot of people are performing. A lot of people are wearing a mask. And we live in a society where performance, usually, unfortunately, in this matrix, it tends to overpower the authenticity. And that's when you're dealing with people who are caught up in false illusions, superficiality, again, the way things look on the surface, popularity. Authenticity does go a long way, though, with people who are more pure-hearted, more genuine. That's when authenticity pays off. And I will say this, authenticity will always pay off because it will filter out the people that are not meant for you and the people that are putting on a show, the people who are performative. And I had to even learn that too. Even the most loving ones of us, the most pure-hearted ones of us, have to some degree felt like we needed to perform in certain environments and not be truly authentic in a way going along to get along, right? Or trying to fit in when you're meant to stand out and you're not even meant to be in certain spaces in the first place because you're just not an energetic match, especially, like I said, for this pure hearted, genuine souls of us, because we can see through those illusions, right? We can see through those illusions of success. I will tell you firsthand, I've been around so called successful people, and you will see the mask slip. You no longer are looking at the money, you are no longer looking at the status or the popularity or the fame or even how well spoken they are, how well educated they are, or whatever it is, right? Even those who even seem to be pure hearted, which some may call the altruistic narcissists, right? The people who hide behind their good deeds. All of those illusions can be really dismantled when you really tune in and you pay attention to how they treat themselves, how they treat other people, what they value in life, right? Do they value human beings? Do they value peace? Do they value harmony? Or do they value superiority complexes? Do they value being over or perceivingly over others? Do they value material items as a sense of status, as a sense of importance, as a sense of being better, perceivingly better in their minds, which again is all an illusion of other people. So these are some examples when you're in those spaces, if you've ever been in those spaces, that you'll be able to notice that it doesn't matter what we contextualize or we deem as successful as a society, which is a complete, it's a distortion. It's a complete distortion. So we're going to dismantle some of those distortions today. And we're going to also talk about what actually is the true success. And I mentioned it, I believe, in the beginning of the video. Your true success is your inner state of being. It's how you really feel. And this is the problem that a lot of people seem to miss, is that they are so caught up with pleasing others. They're so caught up with putting on the show for society. They're so caught up with performing that we forget that really at the end of the day, all we're chasing really is the feeling. We're chasing the love. We're chasing, when I say we, I'm talking about us as a human collective. Human beings just want to feel loved. They just want to feel good inside, right? But we find time and time again that a lot of these illusions of success, because they are illusions, the mask falls, it will always fall apart. It doesn't matter about the likes. It doesn't matter about who's accepting you. It doesn't matter about any of that, because again, if your soul is not in the director's seat, in the driver's seat of your life, along with your heart, and then your ego is also working in harmony with your heart and your soul, then you are always going to feel some type of emptiness inside, no matter what you've accomplished, right? And it's not to say that in the achievements and the accomplishments that there's not some level of success, right? I think that when we achieve things on a human level, that does show some type of perseverance. It shows resilience. It shows determination. And I think that in itself absolutely is an indicator of some level of inner success. However, is it sustainable, right? And what's going to sustain it is when we're really having integrity to our heart, is when we're really having integrity to our soul. We have to stop comparing ourselves to other people based off of surface level things. That is why a lot of people have low self-esteem and they're not happy with themselves and they're not happy with their lives, is because they're too busy comparing themselves to other people and what seems to be where other people may be, you may think are doing better than you. Again, you're looking at a highlight reel. You're not looking at what's going on behind closed doors. And it's not to say that everybody who seemingly has a great life, it's not to say that they don't have a great life. There are people out there who are really just showing their beautiful lives to share and to inspire people. And I think that's great. But never worship people to the point or think that their life is better than you just based off of the surface. And you have to also tune into what your values are and also what you can be grateful for. A lot of us are truly lacking gratitude. And a lot of us may say, well, especially if you're on the spiritual path, that you're grateful and, gratitude is a practice. But if you're really grateful, truly grateful, you love your life and you're not comparing your life to others. You're inspired by others, but you're also not caught up in the illusions, right? You're not, again, you're dropping those comparisons. You're not looking at someone else's life just based off of what it looks like and what it seems like to say, my life isn't enough. My life isn't good enough, right? Or I'm not good enough because of what other people have or, what they're showing. And a lot of times, too, if for those intuitives of us, we can tune in even though things may seem fun and exciting on the surface, and when you're looking at other people's lives, but when you tune in and you really tune into your values and your heart and soul, you will say, well, some of this doesn't resonate. It just seems very full of glamour, very full of superficiality, very full of like, I need to prove something. And that's the slippery slope too, with like social media and people who are sharing their lives, their highlight reels, which I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's absolutely great. I think people should share what they're called to share. But there is a very thin line and a slippery slope of those who are truly sharing from the heart because they want to inspire people and share their amazing lives with other people, which again, you shouldn't be jealous of. That's where you have to do the shadow work. You should be inspired if somebody's living a certain way or has a certain frequency that you admire or you're looking up to. Be inspired. But the slippery slope is that for some of them, it's to prove. I need the validation, right? I need to show you all that I'm important. And this is a spiritual message that came to me too, is that I recognize that, and my oversoul was telling me that some people, they are meant to have the fame, they're meant to have the popularity, they're meant to have the likes and validation because they're so empty on the inside that if they didn't have that, for some people, they would really probably want to take themselves out of here. And they probably would be on such a low vibrational scale. They would probably be so low and hate themselves so much and even possibly hurt other people because of that inner emptiness inside. Some people, their lesson in life is through the fame, is through the fortune, is through the popularity, right? And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm saying some people, it's really important that we're listening, not all people, but for a lot of people, I'm recognizing that the ones who have all of the, when you look at the likes or the ones who have all of the fame and the fortune, etc., sometimes that is their soul's lesson. And we're not looking at it like that. Sometimes we're thinking, oh, they're blessed, they're blessed, they're blessed. Maybe to a certain degree, yeah, they may have the access to certain resources and money, but there's still an emptiness on the inside because all of that is a mask. All of that is a cover up. And when you're using these material things or these titles and these statuses as a cover up, then you will always be neglecting your heart. You will be neglecting your soul. You won't be really true to yourself because you don't feel important enough without those things. Some people need those things in this human experience literally to survive, literally to live. I know it's shocking. That's what my guidance has given me, is that some people really need those things just in order to survive and to live. And not, mind you, not thrive, survive, literally to live. Because if they didn't have it, there would probably be more havoc in the world and more craziness. However, it's still a lesson for some of those people. And I want to be very crystal clear. There's nothing wrong with having, I don't even want to say popularity, I don't like that word, but being very well known. There's nothing wrong with sharing your brilliant, beautiful life where you feel called to. There's nothing wrong with being glamorous or wearing makeup or even having a lot of money. There's nothing absolutely wrong with that. But when we look at those things, or even just getting an education, But when we look at those things, our so-called education, right? Because what we think is an education could be, dogma or indoctrination or a program. Anyway, that's a story for another time. But all the things, again, that we deem as successful, there is nothing wrong with them inherently. But the problem is that success sustainable in terms of how you truly feel on the inside? And so we're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about the true success in your inner state of being. So let's go down the list. I have a whole list of all the things that are indicators that you're truly successful, because success really is your level of peace. It's your level of presence. It's your level of, if not even your level, your ability to be truly authentic, truly in your heart, and to feel free from the inside out, where you feel free, where you don't have to perform for anybody, where you can just be yourself, whatever that is, however that shows up, right? As long as you're in your heart, that's true success. So let's talk about it. So I said inner peace and presence. That's number one. That's an indicator. Authenticity rather than performance. We talked about that too, and keeping up with appearances. Genuinity and purity. Huge, huge, huge. A lot of people have agendas for self, meaning wounded egoic agendas. And so meaning they have to prove something, meaning they have to get the validation, meaning they have to try to get something for you to feel important, to feel good about themselves, because they don't feel good about themselves as they are. So genuinity and purity is huge, being genuine and pure. And what that really means is that everything you do and everything that you are is only for your love of the divine. It's only because you are the love of the divine. So that's what genuinity and purity is. So we need to check ourselves on that lovingly. Also, success truly is an overflow of support and resources. So, what I do know to be true is that abundance, no matter how that shows up, right now we're in a world where money exists. So, yes, money can be also a form of abundance because it can give you access to resources. And money, if is not inherently evil, money is a neutral tool, very neutral, because money, anything will take on the energy that you are. So if you're a loving person and you have money, that money is going to be used in loving ways. If you're a hateful person and you're kind of narcissistic, or you're someone with low self-esteem or whatever it is, right? That's on a very low vibrational scale. If you have money, that money is only going to further perpetuate more of your degeneracies, more of your self sabotage, more of your low self esteem, right? So inherently, you do know you're successful when you do have an overflow of resources, because truly abundance is our natural state. It's not only our birthright, but that's the natural state of being. That's all of our needs need to be getting met. And the divine will always provide our needs, especially when we get into higher alignment. So that's an indicator of success as well. Not just money alone, but having all of your needs, even emotional needs, met. It's also you meeting your own needs, right? Not just others meeting the needs for you, but you meeting your own needs as well. So that's really beautiful. Another one is you don't have users and abusers around you. That's an indicator of success. And as we all know, a lot of people who are so-called rich, famous, beautiful, they have people, vampires around them, leeches, right? People who are trying to take advantage. So when you love yourself, you're going to have reciprocal, loving, genuine relationships around you. And I will say this too, as you truly embody this, like truly embody self love, and you truly embody boundaries, meaning like you're coming from a place of truth, you're very discerning with people. Most people who are on that path are going to have very few and far in between friends, meaning like, because it comes a dime a dozen, it comes a penny a dozen, really. It comes a penny a dozen when it comes to truly genuine people who are able to self reflect, self correct, not perfect people. Because again, if we're in this human experience, throw perfection out the window. It's not going to be perfect. But what we're talking about here is accountability. People who are self aware, people who are truly doing the inner work, right? Continuously, even through the mistakes and even through the self sabotage and even through the whatever, the human nonsense that we have to go through in this duality, right? So you're going to have reciprocal, loving, genuine relationships. So that's an indicator of success. So if people think that they're successful just because, again, of the surface level, but they're around a whole bunch of fake and phony people who are only with them for, again, status, for some type of egoic benefit, that's not successful because you're being used, you know? And so that's something that people need to pay very, very close attention to. And that's why they say it's lonely at the top, right? It's lonely at the top of the false matrix because, again, it's the show, it's the performance. Another thing is too is you realize there's no failure. There's only opportunities for growth and redirection. So that's a successful mentality. Actually, is that you don't look at failure as failure, right? Like I failed. Oh, I'm nothing now. My life is doom and gloom. Nothing good is going to happen for me. No, you look at failure, so-called failure, right? Because sometimes it can be a failure, but it's not failure in terms of like my life ends now, right? Nothing, there's nothing else I can do. It's no, it's redirection and it's opportunities for growth. And it's a lot of times it's just more deeper self-awareness. Seeking, speaking your truth, excuse me, from love and seeking harmony. That is an indicator of success, is that you speak your truth from love. Even if your voice shakes, even if you are trying to find the words, I am still working on to this day speaking my truth in having the correct verbiage, the correct words, because it's always my intention to come from love. But sometimes, if our nervous system is maybe a little out of whack, or we have emotional imbalances, or we still have unhealed past traumas, et cetera, if we have all those different things, then sometimes we're not speaking our truth effectively. But it's okay. You don't have to always speak your truth perfectly. By just speaking your truth, you'll be able to, it's trial and error. You'll be able to improve and you'll be able to self reflect, self aware, self correct. And that's really, really beautiful. And those are indicators of success, is that, wow, I spoke my truth. You got that energy out of your body. Because when what happens actually is when we don't speak our truth and we're not authentic in how we want to use our voice, what happens is that we create disease in the body. And that's where a lot of disease metaphysically comes from, is because not just from not speaking our truth, is because that wounding, it has not been moved, it has not been shifted out of the body, so that manifests as disease. So, for example, a lot of people, they say when they have heart disease, that's usually related to lack of self love, having a broken heart, carrying on pain where people have hurt you on a heart level where you feel like even maybe backstabbed, just anything of that nature. Usually that's related to how heart disease manifests. On top of that, food, all that, there's a lot of different, but it's all connected, right? So that's something to really pay attention to, is to speak your truth anytime that you feel called to speak your truth, and always seek harmony. Always seek harmony, and that's giving it your all. When you're seeking harmony, you're giving it your all. And if the other person or the other parties are not seeking harmony, at least you can feel good about yourself that you did, and you can just separate and exit stage left with no regrets, right? That's really, really important. Another indicator of success is you have zero tolerance for people mistreating you in any capacity. Also, you have zero tolerance for people mistreating others in any capacity. That is what we're moving into as a collective. We got to stop mistaking grace and unconditional love and mercy as a tolerance. It's, we don't have to tolerate it. We can still have compassion. We can still have mercy for others. We can still have grace and unconditional love for others without tolerating the nonsense. And that also means not tolerating how people are treating you disrespectfully, how people are treating you like you're beneath them. No, absolutely not. We're not accepting that in our lives. And so it's really, really important that we notice, are we tolerating things that really are just unacceptable? And you can feel it and you know it. And you don't have to be super intuitive. You don't have to be a psychic. You can know these by the way you feel, because it shows up in your body. These are indicators. That's the divine within you showing, that's your soul showing that you're out of alignment, or that something or someone in your life is not a good fit for you and this needs to be corrected, right? So that's an indicator. Another indicator is that you operate from a win-win. So that means that you're just, again, not for self, meaning selfish wise. It's okay to put yourself first from a place of like, I need to fill my cup so I can show up the best way for other people. But you're not doing it as it's just me, only me. I'm inconsiderate. It's all about me. No, it's about all of us. Yes, you do need to put yourself first. I'm a firm believer in that, but not from a place of selfishness. When you're operating from a win win, it is truly for all. You still win because a win win is you're winning too, but also others are winning. It's respect, it's integrity, it's I care about you because I care about me. That's what the win win is. So when you're operating from that, you are truly successful. You honor your boundaries, you honor your truth. Huge. So we talked about that a little bit. Yes, it's so important to honor your truth and your boundaries, speak your truth, and you feel you are consciously connected to the divine. This is another huge one. You're intuitive. You have a connection beyond the physical realm. Truly, all human beings, we are all intuitives. We're supposed to be. A lot of it lies dormant, a lot of it lies suppressed, a lot of it hasn't been refined in practice because a lot of us don't see ourselves beyond the physical. We don't see ourselves as these spiritual beings having this human experience, but truly we are all spiritual beings. So we're all meant to be intuitive. We're all meant to be psychic on some level. We're all channels. We truly are. An example of it for even people who don't consider themselves channels or psychics, which is fine. These are just labels. But an example of how this shows up is like if you're thinking about somebody and all of a sudden they give you a call or they give you a text, that's you channeling their energy. That's you connecting with them. That's you magnetizing them to you. That's you picking up on them thinking about you before it even happens. And a lot of people do that. But that's a form of being intuitive. That's a form of being a channel, if you will, because you're channeling their energy and it's actually bringing it into you. And so, yes, having that divine, intuitive, spiritual connection is a form of success. You operate from love and you follow your heart. That's huge. And you follow your soul, your heart and your soul. And again, your ego is supposed to be working for and with the heart and soul. The ego is necessary in this human experience. The ego will hype you up, right? But also the ego, well, sometimes you think is protecting you, but it's actually sabotaging you. The ego, you may, that's not love. It's another form of distortion when again the ego is wounded. So yes, when you're operating from your heart and your soul, the ego is working with it, therefore no longer working against you. So that's really huge. You don't make excuses or operate in cognitive dissonance. That's a huge one. That's a form of success as well. People who don't make excuses for BS, right? Or things that are not a win win for all, or things that are just not from love, and we can feel it and we can see it and we know it, right? And we make excuses for it. If you're doing that, that's not success. And that's not the, again, these are inner successful ways of being that is self actualized that will change your whole life forever, change your whole life for the better. And even as I'm saying these things, trust and believe. I'm still working on every single one of these. These are not all yet fully 100% embodied in me, but I do know that when I do had that sense of embodiment with these things, that's when the miracles happen for me. That's when everything just aligns up so perfectly. That's when I'm feeling my best truly, not from a temporary high, not from a temporary quick fix, not from anything temporary, right? Not from the glamour, not from the money, not from any of that, not from sex or any of that. It's from a true just state of being. It's a true like remembrance of like, wow, this is how we're supposed to feel. This is how we're supposed to be. We're not supposed to be living in fear. We're not supposed to be feeling like we have to try to attain happiness when happiness should just be the state, when peace should just be the state. That's the thing about that's the issue with the human experience. And some may say, well, it's not an issue if it's a human experience. Well, it is, because we're still living in distortion. And human beings are truly meant to live in harmony and in love. So, yeah, it's a human experience for now in terms of duality, but we're moving out of that. And as we're moving out of that, we're going to start to realize like trying to get happiness, trying to get peace, trying to get this, trying to get that. That is part of the rat race, and that is part of the programming as well. There's nothing to get. All we have to do is try to not try. We just have to tune in. We have to be honest and real with ourselves. So that's huge. I know I went on a little bit of a tangent there, but yes, operate from love and follow your heart and soul, and don't make excuses or have cognitive dissonance. The next one is you have gratitude and you're truly appreciative of everything that's in your life, everything. And when you have true gratitude, you also learn to have gratitude for the things that don't work out, or some may deem as something bad happening to you, right? And maybe to a degree it is bad, right? However, you can still see the lesson, you can still see the opportunity. I can promise you, everything that's happened to me in my life that was unfavorable, it has been a blessing in disguise, because it brought out something in me, and it brought out more self-awareness in me that I wasn't able, or I wasn't, shouldn't say able, because apparently I was able to see it eventually, but it took those hard lessons or those uncomfortable situations for me to actually be able to see it, to see my blind spots, to see the blind spots of others, right? And so it's really, really important that we learn to truly have gratitude, not only for the good in our life, but so the so-called bad and the ugly. And this does not mean, again, putting on a smile if you're going through something. I'm not saying to have a clown smile on your face if you're going through something horrible, just to prove that you have gratitude. No, you can absolutely cry, you can absolutely be sad, you can absolutely be angry, but even in the anger, find gratitude. Like, I am so happy. Well, maybe that's a little extra, but I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to be angry. Once you allow the anger to process, or allow the sadness to process, or depression, whatever it is, right? Again, those unfavorable situations, when you can process that and still find gratitude, what that means is that you're capable, and you're a freaking warrior, really. You're a warrior man, you're a warrior woman, you're able to, a warrior teenager, child, whoever's watching this video, you're a warrior human being that is able to alchemize and to transcend and transmute any negative situation in your life, because you have true gratitude. It's not just for the good things that happen in your life, it's for everything, every aspect of life. And that alone is the alchemy. And that's how we improve ourselves and become our best selves, is to find the love in the so-called hate, to find the love in the ugly. That's the paradox of life, is that even in the most gruesome, hateful, vile, evil things that happen in the world, there can be love at the end of it. I mean, that's one of the biggest teachers, unfortunately, of humanity, because we all have very hard heads, apparently. And what they say, a hard head makes a what? A soft, you know what? That makes a soft butt. So sometimes we got to go sit down somewhere after having hard heads and self reflect and do the self correction, right? And to return to love. A lot, I mean, those harsh situations in life will really humble some of us. It will really humble us and make us, again, self-reflect, take accountability, and to shoot higher, to be our higher selves, to have more integrity, right? So that's the beauty of the pain and the suffering and the duality. Again, went on a little tangent, but it's okay. I said what needed to be said. So that is really beautiful. Yes, have true gratitude and celebrate life and find your joy. And again, always take accountability. You self reflect. You always strive to improve. You learn the lessons. That's true success. Learning the lessons, not continuously repeating the same old, same old, same old. If we keep going through the same old drama, same old nonsense, we haven't learned the lessons. So take a moment. We have to learn pattern recognition too. That's another video I'm going to do coming soon, but pattern recognition, that's a whole topic in itself. And I want to talk about, when I do that video, how to notice the patterns, right? And how to see it as pattern recognition. It all goes down to self-awareness and to notice, like, what keeps reoccurring? What are these reoccurring themes in my life? What keeps showing up? What keeps happening? If that keeps happening, that means you have not learned the lesson, meaning that whatever that is that's unfavorable, that is getting you into a state of just not being your happiest, best loving self, that means that we need to learn the lessons. So that's really huge. Another great indicator of success is health is wealth. Not just money, not just your body, not just being physically fit. It's all of the above, right? It's the body, it's the mind, it's the spirit, it's the emotional body, and it's the finances as well. Again, we are still in a human experience where we're experiencing money. However, and I do know in my heart that eventually that's all going to close out and we're going to shift into higher ways of monetary abundance and reciprocity, etc. That's another tangent. But again, health is wealth, and health is holistic, meaning, again, it's the whole being. And I also will say finances are a part of our health as well. Not just, don't just look at it as just money. Look at it as overflow. Look at it as resources. Look at it as support, right? If we can translate money to those things, as I look at money as just another extension of love, because I'm love, right? Because I'm going to use it for love, right? I'm not using money to hurt myself, especially when I'm very conscious and aware of self and I'm overriding any subconscious programming or unconscious traumas. But when we can really tune into ourselves again and operate from that true state of purity and genuinity and love and win-win for all, the money, the mind, the body, the spirit, there's nothing wrong with wanting to have a nice body. There's nothing wrong with wanting to look good. Again, what are your reasons? And all of this can be very high vibrational when we're doing it, again, from purity. And we're doing it because this is who we are and how we want to express ourselves in whatever way that is. So, yes, holistic health is wealth. That is an indicator of success. It's in treating people how you want to be treated. Kindergarten knowledge, okay? Apparently, adults haven't got it together because look at the world. We're living in a world where people are not treating other people how they want to be treated. So apparently, adults are still in kindergarten, or they need to go back to kindergarten, right? It is a mess. So, yes, treating people how you want to be treated, that is a sign of inner success and real success. Being kind, being considerate to others and yourself. Again, not people pleasing, because you always have to be true to yourself. And what I do know for a fact is that when you're truly true to yourself, it will always 100% of the time benefit others. 100% of the time, even if they don't see it that way. If they're in their ego, especially if they're like trying to take advantage of you, or they're trying to, where they're just not again, operating from purity and love and self-awareness and being authentic themselves, even if they are having an ego trip, you are still helping them out by loving yourself and being kind and considerate by putting yourself first, meaning putting my heart, my soul, my intuition first. You will always, it's always going to be a win-win. Always. It can never not be. So that's something to keep in mind. So yes, always being kind, considerate, and loving to others, but not people pleasing, right? That's not the same as people pleasing. So I have to be clear on that. Being in service. This is huge. Being in service in your unique purpose and causing harm to none. So again, this goes back to pure loving agendas. Really having no agenda, but if you're going to have an agenda, make sure it's pure and loving. So yes, being in service is huge. And I will always say this, and I will continue to say this, the ultimate way to be in service is to be yourself. Just to be you. You don't have to be on YouTube. You don't have to be a public speaker. You don't have to be famous. You don't have to be a teacher. You don't have to go to college. You don't have to become a millionaire to be in service. Be in service just by being you in whatever way that's you're called to do that, by being in your heart. And this is how you know too, just a side note, another little tangent. It's like when it comes to celebrities, I was just watching something, and I'm not going to mention it, like some type of big show you all know that's happening right around this time. We're in May, early May. Yeah, it's a big show that's going on right now. And I was just thinking, like, all these people come together and all these people watch these shows and they come together, but it's not to end poverty, it's not to end the wars, it's not to end mental illness, it's not to create inclusivity. It's for glamour. It's for superficial reasons, right? It's to siphon our energy and to blind us from what really matters in the world. And I was just thinking, like, wow, these people really do have the power, considering their popularity. I mean, we have the power, truly, all of us do, but we don't know that. But considering they're famous, right? Considering that they have access to so many people around the world and most people are followers, since people are followers, they can follow their superficial celebrity leaders, right? And if all the celebrities got together right now and said, you know what, we're not doing any more shows until poverty ends, the war ends. We're not doing no movies. We're not doing no concerts. I mean, they can literally do this overnight. That's my little tangent. I'm gonna do a whole nother video about that. Like this, like uncovering those illusions and like showing you how they're playing directly in our faces is a mess. Anyways, I say all that to say that yes, when you're really in service, it's humane. It's humanity. It's again mind, body, spiritual, emotional well-being. I don't care what anybody says. If it's not that, if it's not helping you liberate yourself, if it's not helping you to love yourself from the inside out, despite what surface level things you have or you don't have, if it's not helping you to love yourself unconditionally and to know yourself, it's a waste of time. It really is. It's a joke. So, and it's not really a funny joke either. I'm a silly person. So you'll see me laughing and kikiing and all this little silly stuff because that's just my personality. But it's really not even funny. It's a horrible joke, right? That, yeah, we got to be in service. That's all I'm going to say about that. So, anyways, being true to yourself. Yes. Honoring your commitments, honoring your intuition, following your heart and your soul, your unique truth, your unique way of showing up in the world. In whatever stage you are in life, right? We're constantly evolving. Who I am now is not who I'm going to be 10 years later. At my core, yes, my core is always going to be love, but I'm even evolving in the way that love shows up. But you have to be true to yourself where you are right now. Be completely true to yourself. You don't have to be perfect, right? Show up flaws and all. That came up big time in a reading I did a while ago about how to get out of your comfort zones, is to risk it all and to show up as you are. You are enough. as you are. You don't have to be, again, these illusions of perfections, because they're illusions anyway, right? And they will never lead to true inner soul liberation. They will never lead to true ascension. They won't. If you're stuck in that, if you're stuck in that, it will delay your ascension, right? We want to get on that path of ascension, of ascension inside of ourselves, right? Really, really powerful. Another way that you're successful is you're emotionally balanced and you're not projecting or overreacting. That's another thing I'm consistently working on, because Lord knows I'm a beautiful person, loving, kind, happy person. That's my natural state. But Lord knows, you try me, sometimes the devil comes out. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes the devil comes out, but that is part of the human experience, and I'm not making excuses for it. I'm very self aware, very self accountable. But yeah, it can get ugly. So I try my best to be very self aware and to continue to do the healing work, no matter what you call it, healing, working on yourself, just loving yourself, right? Loving life and realizing that you don't have to take people's crap and BS, but you also don't have to lose yourself. You shouldn't have to lose yourself or not be your best self because of somebody else's foolishness, right? Anyways, being emotionally balanced, not projecting, meaning that you're not saying somebody else is a certain way, but you're that way, right? Or overreacting, right? These are all things that we all really need to be working on. And those are also, again, indicators of inner success. You don't try too hard or to prove anything or make anything happen. You stop over explaining yourself. Lord knows that has been a big lesson for me. Huge lesson. Because there is a thin line with me. Again, my natural who I am, I'm very thorough. I love to be very detail orientated. I love people to feel validated, feel understood, and I want them to understand where I'm coming from. So sometimes that can be done in a way that is very over explaining, right? And so I'm learning just to tune in to my energy and where whatever my response is, where is that coming from? Is it coming from like, I need to prove myself to this person, like they need to see that I'm actually having good intentions, etc., when I already know that? Or do I just need to, keep it short, keep it cute, or maybe not say nothing at all? So, I mean, that's just an example of not doing too much, not trying too hard. It can be very unconscious, very subconscious programming. So just tune into yourself and watch that. Stop over explaining yourself to people, which I already said. Sorry, I'm just rereading what I wrote. And yeah, you have confidence to be authentic in life. That is a form of success. Being very confident in yourself, again, flaws and all. That is the beauty. And that's where people are going to relate to you the most, is not through the performance, it's through you just being you. And again, being very, very self aware. Self awareness is literally number one. That is the key. And I would say, even before self awareness is, well, I guess it's all self awareness. Yeah. It's like just to notice how you feel inside your body and to be honest about where you are in life and where you're even not satisfied and not happy. I will say this too, even going back to gratitude, is that you can still be grateful and still sit and still recognize that you're out of alignment, or that you're playing small, or that you're self-sabotaging, right? Again, having gratitude and being optimistic and putting on your best face, it doesn't mean you're being fake or suppressing your emotions or spiritually bypassing. That's a big one. And a lot of times we're gaslighting ourselves or being gaslit by thinking we have to put on this, again, this perfect face. Look at me, I'm so happy, I'm so happy, I'm so optimistic, right? And again, it's just a mask, when really it's like you just want to be like, F this crap. you know my life is a mess. Yeah, I'm grateful, but you can say, I think both can be true. You can be grateful and say, you know what, I'm very grateful I'm alive, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that, whatever. And I'm a hot mess. I need to get it together. So that's just that radical honesty, radical accountability, right? But that all comes from self-awareness. So I'll end it with that. This has been a great topic. I hope, and I know, still correcting myself on that. I know for a fact that this has definitely helped you to see past the illusions of success, to really shift into inner success, right? Not just surface level, how we're really feeling and not continuously striving for happiness. Like that's coming through very clear in this transmission, is that we're constantly striving, we're constantly trying for peace, we're constantly trying to get success, we're trying to get abundance, right? That's even a whole nother video for another day too, is that really we're not even really creating abundance, we're creating lack, which is keeping us from our natural state of abundance. Again, that's a whole nother video for another day. But I will end it here. I'm so grateful that you all have tuned into this live. I'm actually going to end with a quick card of what we all can do to get out of the illusions of success. So one came out really quick. Whew. Okay, Guru Ram Das. Guru Ram Das. This one says, harmony surrounds you. Expect miracles. Harmony surrounds you. Expect miracles. And what I'm going to say about this, when it says harmony surrounds you, is that inner harmony. Harmony will surround us, and we will have miracles in our life. True miracles that make us feel good when we can tune into the inner harmony within it ourselves. Harmony meaning that coherence. Harmony meaning the mind, body, spiritual, emotional coherence coming together. That synergy of all of those aspects. Even the synergy of the ego, again, working in tandem with the heart and the soul. So this is how we create miracles, when we can find that inner synergy and have that mind, body, spirit, emotional coherence. So expect miracles. Again, this is our natural state. I want to put that up. Expect miracles. That's the success, right? Is to live into that miracle consciousness. That's being successful. And that all will happen the more that we learn to love ourselves, truly, continuously working on ourselves, not as a chore, not as something to strive to do. The working on ourselves is just truly just being you, being you, living in your heart, in each and every moment. That's how divinely guided you are. And that's how divine you are, is that each and every moment, you do know exactly what to do. We all know exactly what to do. We got to stop lying to ourselves, right? And we got to stop being distracted from self. Take that time to be still. Take that time to, again, self-reflect. Be at your altar. The world is your altar, right? You are the altar. You are also the offering. For those that know what I'm saying, they know what I'm saying. But yeah, it's really beautiful. I'm going to end here. I thank you all so, so much for tuning into this video. If you do like this video, please like, please share, please subscribe, and please leave in the comment section, what illusions of success are you ready to let go of? So, and what illusions of success not illusions, what true success, what inner success are you ready to embody? I would really like to hear that from you all, or just whatever you want to speak on, whatever's on your heart, right? These are just directive prompts, but really it's whatever you want to do. And yeah, life is beautiful. Life is great. Even if it's very ugly, but remember, you are a powerful co-creator, and we're doing this together. We're in this together. I'm sending you also so much love. If you do want to book a reading with me, I specialize particularly in shadow work, in the covert ego, uncovering those parts of ourselves, even beyond the illusions of, this is a great topic, actually. The illusions of success, people who think they may be successful, but they may not be seeing what's lying beneath the surface, or why you may still feel empty inside, why you may not still feel truly liberated, truly happy, right? A lot of times it's because of the covert ego and that lack of shadow work that we're not doing, or we're not even recognizing that we need to do, or what we need to do, right? Those are what my readings particularly specialize in. Those are my gifts. And I would love to help you in those areas if you are called to. So if you're called, go ahead and click the link in my bio, and it's 33% off for any first time clients. It's about a 90-minute reading or more. I don't stop right at 90 minutes. I'm very much in the flow, and I would love to work with you. And also, I do also give embodiment practices as well, not just the guidance, but actual, true, tangible embodiment practices so that you can really embody the teachings, embody the work, embody the guidance, right? Because that's what it's all about. Sending you all so much love. And again, thank you so much for being here. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week. Sleep well if it's the night. Enjoy your day if it's the day. And I will see you all soon. Mwah! Peace.